Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another podcast episode of Automation Nation inside Barnum. And today we are doing a little spotlight on the Barnum Vendor Managed Inventory. We call it VMI. I'm Cody Curtin, as usual. And with me today, I got Taylor in our VMI group. We're going to just chit chat about what the VMI actually is, how our customers use it, how Barnum uses it, and just kind of what makes it unique and kind of
Mhm.
cool with Barnum. And as a little extra perk with this episode, the hat I'm wearing right now, if you want to get one of these hats, leave a comment. And next week's podcast, I'm going to pick a random comment and we're going to make sure you get one of these hats. So let's get rolling here. We're going to talk about some VMI stuff. And really, vendor managed inventory, I guess, is a word a lot of different companies use
Mhm.
that do distribution.
Correct.
But in your opinion, Taylor, like what is in general VMI for Barnum? Like what is it just overall? Educate me because I don't even do that much with it. I'm probably going to learn a lot from you on this today. So,
How I describe vendor managed inventory, especially the way Barnum does it, it's like having a mini Barnum. You have a mini Barnum within your facility, your factory, your plant. Yeah, it's just your own mini Barnum. If you run out of something, if you want to build out of it, you have Barnum on your floor.
now when we say we have Barnum there to do it, does that really give us like the customer's option to configure it however they want? Like whatever it really like the VMI, the vendor managed inventory, is there at their facility, and they kind of say, well, what do we want in it? What do we want
Hmm.
to stock it with? They have control over it. It's not just something we plop in there because it's convenient, right?
Yeah, nope, nope. This is VMIs are fully, we have input on what is allowed in a VMI cabinet because, yes, there are certain items that just they're either too big, we don't have them on our shelf to properly keep stocked in a Barnum cabinet. So, yes, we have a small amount of input on what is on that final say of going into a
Mm-hmm.
cabinet. And then, but it's up to the customer and the salesman hand us over a list and go, hey, this is what we need.
What's your most
And
common thing that you
yeah,
need now instead of,
correct.
waiting a day or two or
Yes.
whatnot?
Yes, exactly. And or customers that want to build out of a cabinet. They have, a job coming up for the next 6 months and they can just choose, hey, this cabinet is going to supply everything we need for the build. We're going to be using these 20, 30, 40 parts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This cabinet is now set for this build. You have everything at the tips of your fingers.
And is that something that customer can bring in just for that time frame? Say we're going to be doing this build for 6 9 months. We need the cabinet here for 6 9 months. So you guys can just take it.
Yep.
Okay, just get
Yeah,
rid of it.
we have short-term VMIs and we have long-term VMIs. That is truly up to the customer and the salesman on how they want to use it. And sometimes those short-term VMIs turn into, oh, I really like this. Can we just rearrange the products? Can we
Mm-hmm.
add new stuff? And a short term turns into a long term VMI.
Those cabinets are pretty slick too. They actually they look cool.
Yes.
Like when you walk into someone's plant, I've seen them quite a few times on people's floors, and it's
Mhm.
eye catching because
Mhm.
it's just a big Barnum logo sitting there on the
Yep.
side.
Yeah.
Like that's not just some chintzy little
Nope. Not
cabinet on
just
on
your
the wall.
little Home Depot, little industrial grade, little at home garage cabinet.
Yeah,
This
your
is
little tool chest.
correct. Yeah, not just a little tool chest. Our cabinets are, they're heavy duty. They are lockable.
Lockable is probably a really good point because
Yes.
when you got a whole bunch of stocked items that anyone in that facility can just come and grab,
Correct.
probably want to be able to monitor or at least only let certain people go and grab stuff out of it.
Yes. And so, yeah, cabinets are lockable. But yeah, I mean, they're big. They're heavy duty, they can take a hit. Please don't hit them, but they can, they're good for that warehouse industrial environment.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hmm.
So that's a good quick little summary on what a VMI is, how our customers kind of use them. Now, your role here at Barnum,
Hmm.
what actually do you do for VMI, and how does that kind of group work? Because obviously, not just everyone at Barnum has access to how the VMI works or
No.
how it even functions, or might not even know that much about it.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you actually do for it?
So my job is I now take on the billing role as well. So VMIs have their own separate billing right now. So I do billing, but the VMI group, our day, we are, we're placing orders, we are doing posters and labels every day, adding new product, taking out product, we're doing returns all the time. We're dealing with, we're working with our drivers on doing spot counts, we're doing quarterly counts, you know, we are always doing some little project to help maintain VMIs.
Yeah, really showing that VMI is it's not an automated system. It
No.
is its hand is being held by
Yes.
your group.
Yes, absolutely. And so myself and another coworker, Steve Franchi, him and I truly we're dealing with the Michigan salesmen for the most part. We also have our Grand Rapids guy, Marty, who he does West Side. They have so many VMIs just on the West Side
It
that
needed its own team.
yeah, it's just that our one person solely West Side, and then me and Steve take on Northern, Eastern, Central Michigan, all of that.
Mhm.
We have Sam that does um, our Ohio VMIs, and then we have Lance Hemphill, who just moved down to Tennessee. He is taking on the role of all of that southern territory
That new untouched territory.
yeah, that we have expanded into and continuing to expand into. We're going to, I don't think it's there yet. We have a new VMI going into Alabama. Um, so,
So is there about 5 or 6 people in your group then kind of handling that?
oh yeah, five, we got six of us with just managing orders, customer requests, returns, all of that, and then plus our drivers.
Yeah, is there dedicated drivers or are they just the standard like
Yes,
Barnum drivers that kind of fit in once in a while when they need to do VMI stuff, or are they VMI drivers? They are VMI drivers.
they are VMI drivers. I would say they're ours, and then sure, we can go ahead and drop off another person's
Their
stuff.
priority is VMI. If
Yes.
there's something else that can fit in
Yes.
a truck or
Yeah,
whatnot, or
and I
on their
mean,
route, good to go. But
and with like Barnum is so lucky to have our drivers because that gives us such you know, a specialty, that benefit of, having, you know, having that extra hand to help out our customers.
Mhm.
It's
not having to
wonderful.
rely on third party courier, UPS or
Yes.
someone coming over and
Yes.
you know the stock kind of gets handled a little bit more with care
Hmm.
because it's someone who directly works with your team to
Hmm.
know what needs to be there and all
Yeah.
that instead of just dropping off another package.
Yep. And our drivers know our customers know our drivers. They're, you know, we have it's extending that personal touch
Mhm.
from Barnum.
That
It's
almost kind of
wonderful.
backtracks on a previous episode we did about value added stuff. Just
Yeah.
that is something I don't think we even touched on in that episode is our drivers additionally are a value added
Yeah,
because like I said, they're
absolutely.
not just a guy behind the wheel. They are
Yeah.
an extension of Barnum.
Yep, absolutely. So it's great. Our VMI team is great. We are
So you said there's a lot of VMIs in West Michigan, and then you
mhm.
have teams that cover all over the place. I mean, just roughly in general, how many of those cabinets are around our territory?
We have 300 plus VMIs. I believe we are creeping up to 350 now. We're getting close, and we're getting, requests in daily, weekly
I was going to
from,
ask, how often is there a new one kind of getting installed somewhere, being
oh,
brought out? Like,
at least weekly, we're getting salesman requests of, hey, I want to get into this company, I'm, we're pitching VMIs. Whether whether it sticks, that may be, you know, another story. But
yeah.
weekly, we're pitching VMIs.
I feel like it, yeah, every time I go out on calls with some salesmen, that
Hmm.
is a conversation, a
Hmm.
side conversation every time is, hey, I'd really like to get a VMI in
Yeah,
here. And
just
then it just,
that little extra piece of Barnum of, that little extra touch, that
mhm.
little resource. Yeah.
Now, when a customer has a VMI or
Hmm.
has had one for a long time, obviously it's managed through your team
Hmm.
and people can just take what they need out of it. How does that get like handled? How does that get tracked? There isn't like
Hmm.
RFID tags or anything on the
No,
parts. You know
yeah,
when someone
yeah,
takes
no, no,
it.
no.
Like,
So
is it really on the customer to do their due diligence to say I took this out of the cabinet?
yes,
And then does someone from our team go and double check that later to make sure
yeah,
someone didn't miss one or something?
yeah, absolutely. So we VMIs have been a little old school just because they are, we've had them for so long.
Hmm.
We do the manual pull sheets of, you know, the honor your word and writing down how many you took. A lot of companies want to apply them to certain job numbers, project numbers. We I'm trying to think of how long. I think since I've been here for 8 years, um, we have a web portal that's set up for our VMI. We have a Barnum portal, but then VMI has its own little portal, and the customer is able to go in and see their entire VMI list. They're able to show that, hey, I took 2, 3, 4 of.
So they can compare physical notes from a clipboard on the side of their cabinet
Mhm.
with an actual online system and
Yeah,
see what's coming and going.
and so some people do, like, some people just want pull sheets. They just want that hard copy paper.
Hmm.
Some customers really like that online system. A lot of them pick and choose. Some do both
Sure.
to help double check factor on themselves. But our drivers are doing spot counts every time they visit, and our drivers are our local VMIs. Our drivers are there weekly.
Sure.
We're dropping off. We're doing a spot count.
Hmm.
um, our more remote customers, especially as we're expanding, we're visiting them about 8 weeks. Every 8 weeks, we're trying, and then especially quarterly, we want to do quarterly reconciliations. So that way, as like a new year turns over, we're not, the cabinets aren't a mess.
Oh yeah.
They're Barnum owned. And then but some customers are customer owned. They want to own all their inventory. They
So that at that point it just becomes just a kind of a unique stocking program
mhm.
with that customer because it's their cabinet, everything in there belongs to them,
Yeah.
and they just it's more or less we always are continually needing this stock. It's not per se. It's more or less I guess just local Barnum inventory on their floor more than a
Mhm.
borrow system with the cabinet.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Yep, so it can be either way, but just that nice double check feature of our drivers counting, double checking the pull sheets and all
Hmm.
that. And we get the pull sheets back, or um we see it within our web system of everything they've pulled, and we're doing orders daily.
Now with technology
Hmm.
increasing over time, have you guys had the web portal for quite a while, or is that fairly new? And is that like even going to be expanded upon more? So it's going to be a kind of fancier system going in the future?
Yes. Um, I've been with Barnum for 8 years.
Hmm.
To my knowledge, we have had the web portal for, I would say, 7 to 8 years. So I think it's been around for a while. It's a little simple, but it works. If it works,
At the end of the day, it's really just a
yeah,
your part counting. I mean, it doesn't need
correct.
to be anything overly
Yeah,
aggressive.
yeah, exactly. And in the future, we are not set in stone, but we are hoping to get to work with an app so that
Mm.
way, um,
That's kind of what I was going to ask. If
yeah,
a lot of stuff's going app based. So
Yes.
then your crib worker or whatnot could have right
Yep.
on their tablet
Yep.
and be able to monitor
They
everything
can
right
log
there.
into their phone, and we're working on with our labels to get a QR code set so that way they can go into the app, scan the QR code. I
Take
pulled
or receive.
Yep, I took 10 of those cables. Thanks. And like off they go.
No,
So,
that'll be really big if that happens. That'll be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so we're working on it, work in progress. Lots of data to input.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Now, with people reaching out for cabinets,
Hmm.
do you have to be a long tenured customer or someone who buys a certain amount every year, or is it really just case by case basis? You guys have a conversation and say, I think a cabinet would be great for you guys.
Yeah.
And is there any like hard cutoff saying, no, we're not going to put a cabinet there unless so and so?
Yeah. So I mean, cabinets are for like, some people don't even have cabinets. Some people just have like open shelving.
Like
The
their current
hmm
stock crib at the
Yep.
plant or something.
Yep.
They just have a dedicated, this is Barnum's VMI shelf.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And so um the like just about anyone can have a VMI.
Mhm.
Whether it needs a cabinet, that's more so just on the amount of product in that truly uh needs a cabinet, allows a cabinet. If it's going to be 5 products, mm,
It's kind of a big investment. I mean, those cabinets probably aren't cheap,
they're
and they're
yeah,
probably not
they're
easy to get over there and install on someone's floor for just, something they could have a bin.
yes, exactly. And so uh the amount of product is truly what warrants a cabinet. So there's truly no hard stop to a cabinet. And a lot of times if someone comes in and like, "Oh, we only need 5 products." Well, what have you it gives us that it opens up the conversation if they want a cabinet.
Hmm.
Well, you only want 5 products. Let's
Maybe
expand. Yeah,
expand
let's
on it, maybe get a
expand
few more things
on
in there, get the
yeah,
salesman talking about what else they could actually be using.
exactly. So if the cabinets can truly be a selling point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, is there ever a time where, let's say, a customer just has pulled nothing from the cabinet
Mhm.
in months? It's collecting dust.
Mhm.
Now it's time to we need to close up, we're going to take it back,
Mhm.
type of thing. How
Yeah.
often does that happen? Or is that really
Uh
we see that very often?
yeah, no. So I mean, obviously it's not something that we want to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, it happens. I mean, and truly it just becomes because we're checking our VMIs quarterly. Um, and at the very least, we're checking them twice a year. Like that is the least
And
that
that's a full check, not just a
yes,
little poke
correct.
around
Yes,
thing.
we
It's
are
a,
doing a full check. We're seeing, what has truly moved, what has dust on it.
mhm.
Um, we're checking our date codes at those big times. And when those times come and to a customer that, they haven't used anything in 6 months, we're getting a hold of the salesman. We're going to have a conversation with the customer, is what is in the cabinet useful anymore?
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
Because,
I can imagine some stuff sits in there and actually gets obsoleted after a while, and you
yeah.
gotta
Oh, yeah.
figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of times it turns into, hey, yes, you still need a VMI, but just the product isn't what you're stocking isn't useful.
Hmm.
Let's change it. We're doing a whole revamp. And so we try to do revamps is what I like to call them before we close a VMI. And then
Sure.
there are sometimes though where customers go, "Nope, that project's done. We don't need it anymore. Go ahead and take it on home."
Yep.
So,
Now,
um
when like obviously all the different products, revamps, whatever's going on in the cabinet that people might use or not use, is there anything that's the most commonly stocked things in these cabinets? Like really, it's like when someone says, "I want to be in my cabinet because I go through so many darn cables, it's not worth ordering them every time," or proc sensors, or
mhm.
is there certain things that are really drives someone wanting that cabinet more than any other product? Or is there things that straight up you just say, it's not worth putting in a cabinet at all? I know you guys use so many, whatever, clamps. We're
Hmm.
not going to waste a whole cabinet on a whole bunch of clamps because
Yeah,
it takes up 90% of the real
correct.
estate.
And so you said it, the majority of cabinets, they start off cable basis. Um, Cables get cut, burned, nicked,
Hmm. Everyone
cut,
always needs one right now.
and exactly. And there's probably the best thing about a VMI cabinet is those down situations. Cable just got cut on a line. We need a cable right now. You run to the Barnum cabinet
Hmm.
and hey, you got a 5 meter, throw it in. You're back up and running in 5 minutes, however long it takes you to get across the plant. Um, some of the things that like just aren't fit for a cabinet, yes, clamps. Those are big, heavy. How many are you actually burning through? And then special items. So with Barnum and our lab, our
Hmm.
modifying, you know, manifolds, FRLs, all of that. Those are such specialty items for you know, certain customers that
Unless it's a straight cookie cutter, it's the
yeah,
same FRL maybe that they use dozens of them a month or something.
yes,
It's really not practical.
absolutely. It has to be cookie cutter unifit type product to where, you know, you don't use it anymore
Hmm.
and you have to send it back to us. Well, now we
Oh,
have
sure,
to,
someone else could
and
use it.
now we
Yeah.
have to sell it back to someone else, or it has to be in in a state where we can take it apart and it's all about us reselling.
Because it's
Is
technically still our stock in
yes,
the cabinet, right?
yes, it is mini Barnum warehouses. That's how I refer to it. Mini Barnums. It's our stuff.
And it's not purchased till someone puts their hands on it, pulls it out of that
Correct.
cabinet. It is so technically, let's say if customer A has a VMI cabinet
Mm-hmm.
with a bunch of hard to get lengths cables,
Mm-hmm.
in our warehouse here, someone just bought all of them, but they needed five more.
Mm-hmm.
We could technically
Mm-hmm.
go to customer A and say, we're taking those couple
Yeah.
cables out of this
Yep.
cabinet because the other customer needs them
Yeah.
ASAP because that's still technically our stock.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And that is a nice thing about VMIs is we every now and again we do have to wrap Peter to pay Paul. And but the biggest thing is it's our stock.
Hmm.
The customer gets reimbursed, levels get changed.
Yep.
They know about it. We're not doing anything under the table of taking that to, oh, Joe Schmo needs 5 cables,
Yeah.
we're going to run to this customer and steal them.
Yeah.
No, it's our product. And,
And it's still on their floor in
yeah,
their building. You guys still got to communicate it and ask about
correct,
it and make sure that
correct.
they're not going to
And
use it tomorrow.
yes. And so we will borrow
Hmm.
something. We'll do a return. And then we have an order
To
coming
restock
right
that immediately. Okay.
coming right up on that back end. But Joe Schmo needs it now.
Hmm.
Our customer doesn't need it right away,
Sure.
or they still have 5 more in the cabinet.
Yep.
But we're replenishing it right away.
That's kind of similar I've seen with just like our normal warehousing
Mm-hmm.
here. People could buy something and our stock level says we're -10,
Mm-hmm.
but those aren't due to ship for a month and we're getting a whole new order in like a
Mm-hmm.
week.
Yeah.
Technically, we'll just take those 10 that's not shipping for a month because they'll be replaced in a week. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same
Yeah.
situation,
Yep.
just on customer site.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, the other one I have seen too, I have seen in customer facilities little SMC cabinets. Are
Mm-hmm.
those managed through your group as well?
Mm-hmm.
Are they Barnum VMI cabinets, or
Yep.
are they strictly SMC?
Nope. Nope. Those. So yeah. So Barnum for our VMI options, we have our big cabinets, our big black cabinets, and then we have the traditional SMC carts with I believe it's anywhere from 3 drawers, six
Yeah, they
drawers.
kind of almost look like one that just like a snap-on tool
Yep.
cabinet type of
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
And so we have those, and then we were finding out that you can only hold so many SMC fittings in that SMC cart.
Hmm.
Um, uh, One of our guys here, we got these bins. They're these open face bins and little cubbies. Um, 48 to 72 is the sizing of them.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, and he rigged up a little stand for them, and you can wheel them around the plant just like you can with the SMC carts, because that was the biggest thing, is those SMC carts are movable.
Oh yeah, so when you're putting together a whole pneumatic system or
Yeah.
whatnot, you want it next to your technician so you can grab his fittings he needs
Yep.
instead of just
Grab the
grabbing a
fit.
handful and hoping he got what he needed and now he's got to
Correct.
make how many trips back.
Yes, exactly. And so we can actually do double sided on the stand. So if you are stocking, it's at 144 different fitting parts, we can accommodate that. You get a big open face bin, double sided stand. You can even throw some tubing on the bottom and you can wheel it with you.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I mean, it really is showing that our VMI system is really a custom solution for you.
Hmm.
It can be cookie cutter,
Hmm.
but it also can be custom for you, which seems like
Very.
90% of what we do here at Barnum anyway
Yeah.
is, yeah, you can just buy stuff from us, but we also can customize it to you
Correct.
for however you really
Yeah.
want, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's putting a different style label on it or putting it in just a different configuration.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Barnum, we are very good at customizing, at fitting our customers' needs, however,
Hmm.
however small.
No, that's really good stuff. I'm actually myself learning a lot about the VMI system because it's not something I deal with at all in
Yeah.
my engineering group. So it's nice to kind of get a little insight in that
Yeah.
because I you know see you
Not
guys sitting
we're
over there and I don't know what you guys are
yeah.
doing all day.
Yeah. We're in our own little world, and it's six of us, and we we own it. We
And you're busy, right? You're
yeah,
never,
oh
you
yeah.
guys aren't sitting there twiddling your thumbs. I hope another cabinet
No.
comes in this week. Like
No.
there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
product moving, a lot of stuff.
There's I mean, even in the slow times of, Christmas and all that, we're preparing for new VMIs to go out in
Sure.
the new year. Like
Hmm.
we don't slow down. We're always moving.
Good, good.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like every department has that style little efficiency to it right
Hmm.
now and it's great to see, you know, as we kind of do more of these podcasts, things like that, kind of get a little dip into everybody's role here and
You get to learn.
everyone's kind of got that same mentality as Barnum's treating their customers like family, treating them
Hmm.
as a one-on-one, custom stuff, I mean you name it, plus everyone's just diligent at
Hmm.
that job and is happy about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've worked a couple different roles here at Barnum
Hmm.
since you started.
Yeah.
I think you were in the lab for a little while,
Yeah.
things like that too.
I was in the lab, I think, what, 3 years maybe? I started actually in shipping back in 2006.
So you did the classic box taper to great position pathway, which is something a lot of people here brag about.
Yeah, 2016 I started. Back before the warehouse edition even. We had two shipping tables. Yeah, and now we have 8. I don't even know. It's but yeah, I've moved up and went from shipping, worked in the lab, loved the lab. That was so much fun. Getting to hands on with the products, modifying
Yeah,
products.
that team back there has a pretty awesome,
Yeah.
I mean, just pretty awesome workload. It's busy, but they
Oh,
do cool stuff, and you
yeah.
really get to learn a lot of what Barnum does. I think
Yeah.
we definitely want to get one of those guys in here and just talk
Oh, yeah.
about their day to day
Oh,
too.
yeah, absolutely. And then, but it's nice, like VMI versus customer service. Customer service, you're entering orders
Hmm.
all day,
A
you're
lot of
on the
process
phone.
work.
Yep. But I like to think like VMI almost feels like an in between of like salesman and customer service. I'm talking to the customers directly.
Hmm.
I'm talking with the salesman, but we're still doing our order processing, but it's that little niche in between, that salesman customer service spot. And I love it. And cuz you're hands-on. You get to go out to the customers.
Yep.
There's been times where uh, I'm spending a day visiting customers and seeing what they're building, what new projects are going out on the floor. And
See, and that's really nice. I like
and
that. I think just sitting at a desk all day, every day, 100% of your time would get boring after a while, and just being able to see everything
Hmm.
and see what actually Barnum's doing. You hear about
Oh,
what Barnum's doing all the time, but seeing what
and
Barnum's doing
seeing
is
what the product is
really
doing.
helps you grow your own job and position
Yeah.
and care for actually what you're doing.
Yeah. So the VMI is a cool little
A little
our
a little
our
niche
cool
group, yeah.
yeah, our cool little our own little world.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
No, that
But
that is cool. Um, I mean, is there anything in that group that, like, if you were to tell someone, why VMI is, if that ever had a position open, why VMI would be your choice over anywhere else, or would actually, in your opinion, scratch that. Is there any other spot right now in Barnum that you would say I would like to move into that spot versus VMI? Or is VMI really that like comfortable spot right now that kind of fits your role?
for me, VMI is comfortable for me because it allows me to, not be chained to my desk. You know, we get to have our hands in so many different things with the
Mm-hmm.
customer, with the salesman, doing getting to go on a sales call with them.
Yep.
And
Feels like an accomplished role more.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you get to have your hands in so many different things, so many different ways. You're never bored. You're never bored.
that's great.
Yeah. So it's um there's always work to do.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Well, the VMI vendor managed inventory, I think, is a just a great topic overall with Barnum. I mean, just to let people know, whether it's people inside of Barnum like
Yep.
myself learn a little bit more about
Mhm.
it, or customers or outside people kind of hearing our options and how we run a VMI. I think overall this was a great conversation to have.
Yeah.
Just kind of just delve into
Just
it a little more than a buzzword, a VMI on our website.
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. And some people see VMI and they're, what is that?
waste of my time, or
Yeah,
what is it, or
you know.
but it seems like it's kind of a no-brainer for a lot of people.
Hmm. It can't, yeah, and it can be such a great help. So the customization, everything, it's definitely one of Barnum's value added products.
Cool, cool. That's great. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. Taylor, thanks again for coming and chatting with me on
Of
this.
course.
Um, it's a great episode. We got a lot of content here.
Yeah.
Anyone else who is watching, paying attention, got this far in the podcast, remember, if you need anything from Barnum, reach out to your local representative or go to our website. There's some contact information there. If you need VMIs, you can call Taylor directly. Her number's probably right on our website, or hit our receptionist up. And again, to reiterate from the beginning, if you want one of these Barnum hats, leave a YouTube comment. And on the next podcast episode, I am going to pick a random comment and we're going to make sure you get one of these hats. So thanks again for tuning in.
Awesome.
Thank you, Taylor.
You're very welcome.
And we'll see you guys.